James Bellamy Henn converted to Christianity at the age of 17. He has a bachelor's degree in theology from what is now Ambrose University. He served as associate pastor in the Christian Missionary Alliance Church for many years. He served in different capacities of volunteer ministry, including teaching English in mainland China. I've learned a lot about James, from James, sometimes more than I really wanted to know, but he has become a trusted friend. James, come on up.
Following four very talented speakers, I need some visual aids to make mine more interesting. 44 years ago, in a small community of Saskatoon, next slide, my world seemed pretty black and white. Everything looked the same, except me. Next slide. Now, believe it or not, on the outside, I look like a lot of my friends. But on the inside, I was different. What if somebody found out that I had a playgirl hidden in my bedroom? I'd be labeled as one of those fags. Now, high school was tough. My hormones were raging, and I lived with a fear that someone would figure me out. So I became the bully, pretending to be straight. But this conflict inside was becoming a full-fledged storm. Next slide. There had to be an answer. I needed something to change me. Two of my brothers were going to church, and it seemed to make a difference for them. Maybe God could fix me. So I decided on the night of January 6, 1980, on a bus ride home from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, to pray to God and tell him I was broken inside and I needed him to change me. I can tell you that the very next day, it seemed like I had landed in the middle of Oz. My world seemed more colorful. The stars seemed brighter. People I had met at church were happy, and I had hope. I believed that God could work a miracle. Turns out, all I needed to do was pray, attend church, hang out with other church people, and abstain from the many, many things they said were sinful. After all, the Bible says I had a deviant mind that was the result of being born with a sinful nature, and the devil was constantly tempting me with the things that would keep me from obeying God. And I needed him to fix me. So I headed down the yellow brick road, hoping it would keep me on the straight and narrow. As a young, impressionable man, I figured there was no greater thing that I could do with my life than to serve God. So I headed to a Christian university to become a pastor. I had changed my world by living in a way that others would agree or approve. Yet, on the inside, I was still the same person. I felt like I was losing the battle for my very soul. I tried counseling. I tried reading books. I even volunteered for an exorcism to have these demons cast out. Now, at the time, I was dating a wonderful girl, and I decided to take a chance. I told her about my struggle, and she was the first person who didn't make me feel ashamed, and she said she believed in me. I really cared about her, and we were great together. Now, if I married her, then I'd become straight. See, I believed that if you live it, you become it. So I took that leap of faith, and I proposed. Jump forward, 16 years. Still married, 4 kids later, and after years of working as a pastor or volunteering in the church, years of praying and reading, years of following the rules, and years of being a faithful husband, it struck me that I had never once dreamt as a straight man. I had to come face the facts that nothing was fixed. I was just good at managing my behavior. Religion had told me that my heart was dark and full of sin. What if my heart was already good? Maybe I didn't need God to make a new heart. So, keeping with this theme for tonight, the next thing I had to do was find me some courage. I came to face this reality that even after 16 years of living straight, absolutely nothing had changed. This idea of being straight, that it was normal or holy, maybe that was the problem, not me. Church life was all about telling people who God says they should be. But when I looked behind the curtain, all I found was a bunch of men pulling a lot of levers. So I stopped looking at my life through the teachings of the church. This shiny emerald city had distracted me from the truth. I am my authentic me. Once I looked past all their smoke and mirrors, I discovered a universe so vast in size. And as someone who was an evangelical Christian, believing God had created all of this for us, and that man was the center of his creation, I faced the facts and I realized I'm an atheist. And by my definition, that means that I know for certain that I don't know if God exists. And I'm really not looking to pursue that at this time. But here's what I do know. I know that I'm alive. And I occupy a very small space on this planet Earth. And that Earth is just a pale blue dot in a cluster of planets and moons that revolve around our sun. And that our Milky Way is one of billions of galaxies. Our universe is too vast for my sexuality to even be significant. And for the first time in my life, I no longer had to feel judged, or different, or a sinner, or a freak. I'm just gay. And I'm happy with that. I finally have the peace I've been looking for, because now I know I am free from that burden of having to explain to anyone why I am gay. Thanks.